Coming up, former Vice President Mike Pence has launched a 2024 campaign video officially announcing his run for president. And a red-tinted haze is lingering over the skies in New York City. The mayor issues a health alert over poor air quality. What's causing the skies to glow over New York? The rundown starts now. This is Straight Arrow News, bringing you unbiased, straight facts. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. New this morning, former Vice President Mike Pence has officially kicked off his 2024 presidential campaign this morning, releasing a video announcing his run for the White House.
Every time our nation has produced leadership that has called upon this country to do hard things, the American people have always risen to the challenge. And we will again. We just need government as good as our people to do it. I believe in the American people, and I have faith. God is not done with America yet, and together we can bring this country back, and the best days for the greatest nation on earth are yet to come.
In the video, the former VP takes aim at President Biden and Democrats and leaned in on patriotism in the video launch. Pence is the first running mate in 8 decades to run against his former boss. President Franklin Roosevelt was unsuccessfully challenged by his VP in 1940. The next step for the 10-plus presidential candidates will be to meet certain polling requirements so they can participate in the first GOP primary debate held in Wisconsin come August. Pope Francis is currently in the hospital undergoing an intestinal surgery and is expected to spend the next several days in the hospital recovering. The procedure on his abdomen is to repair a hernia. According to the Vatican, the surgery was arranged just within the last few days. Earlier this morning, the Pope was seen at St. Peter's Square waving to crowds in good spirits. It was back in March when the 86-year-old pontiff spent 3 days in the hospital after coming down with bronchitis. At least 2 people have died in a shooting after a high school graduation ceremony in Richmond, Virginia. The gunfire forced hundreds to run from the scene outside a theater downtown. Police say 2 people were killed, including an 18-year-old student who had just graduated and a 36-year-old man. 5 others were also shot. Authorities say a 31-year-old gunshot victim is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries. During the chaotic scene of graduation goers scrambling away from the scene, a 9-year-old girl was hit by a car. She is expected to be okay. Police detained a 19-year-old suspect after he tried to run from the scene carrying 4 handguns. They believe he knew at least one of the victims and will be charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. The school district has canceled all remaining graduation ceremonies this week.
I look at this scenario when we're supposed to be happy about people graduating. We're supposed to be supporting one another, hugging one another, loving one another, and then a shooting happened. Come on now. I just think it's bad. We have to do better.
The nation avoided a default on its debt this week after a last-minute bill was signed to raise the country's debt limit. But with its passage came opposition from a group of conservatives. Now 11 Republican House members are revolting against the House Speaker in response. Led by outspoken members of the House Freedom Caucus, a rather routine procedural vote failed to pass, stalling the day's schedule and slowing any progress on a mixture of GOP bills, including legislation on gas stoves. It's the first time the procedural vote has failed in nearly 2 decades. It's been a rocky start for the Republican majority chamber, first struggling to elect a House Speaker, now stalling out their own agenda to make it known they are upset with members of their own party passing the debt ceiling bill, arguing more should have been done to cut back on government spending before raising the nation's credit limit. The pharmaceutical company Merck is suing the federal government over its plan to allow Medicare to negotiate prices for a handful of drugs. In the lawsuit, Merck called the plan, which is part of the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act, extortion and unconstitutional, to ask the company to abide by government-set prices and not be properly compensated. Some patient advocacy groups have slammed the lawsuit, and the Secretary of Health and Human Services responded saying, quote, "The law is on our side." New photos out of New York and other parts of the U.S. capture a haze in the skies caused by wildfires blazing in Canada. Millions of people are under poor air quality alerts. There are more than 400 active wildfires in Canada that is sending smoke into the northern and eastern United States, reducing visibility, creating a hazy glow, and in some areas, residents can even smell the smoke in the air. New York City's Mayor Eric Adams issued an air quality health advisory warning people with asthma and breathing conditions to stay indoors at least through midnight tonight.
So days like today are days when people with pre-existing health conditions should really stay inside. If they were to be outside, especially if they're exercising, breathing faster, they're going to be inhaling particulates at concentrations that normal smokers would inhale.
iPhone users will soon see an improvement in their autocorrect feature. Apple will be using AI to learn your habits and adjust words accordingly. This means words that you frequently misspell will be fixed, but it will also leave words alone that you tend to intentionally type. That even goes for common curse words. No more autocorrecting to the word duck. The AI-assisted autocorrect will roll out this fall in an iOS 17 update. These are your top stories. Thanks for joining us for the Rundown. We're on a mission to bring back trustworthy journalism by serving only you, not an agenda. Be sure to check out more of our work at straightarrownews.com. And you can also find the latest Rundown episodes available as a podcast on all major podcast platforms. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.